Meet David Grutman, the nightlife and restaurant mogul who redefined what it means to have a good time. From legendary nightclubs like Live to culinary hotspots like Komodo and Poppy Steak, he's built an empire of experiences. But it's not just about the glitz and glamour. Grutman's got the Midas touch, transforming every venture into a cultural phenomenon. Exclusive look into the world of David Grutman. Discover the secrets behind his success, the drive behind his ambition, and the magic that makes him the ultimate tastemaker.
David, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Bruce.
You've done a lot of great things with Groot Hospitality, but I kind of want to walk back a lot of things that you've done, kind of past, present, and future.
Okay.
For those people who might not know, but from my perspective, you're an intriguing guy, but I knew you when you were already a celebrity, so to speak. So I just kind of want to take a step back and just kind of get into kind of the essence of, how you started things and so on and so forth. And the show really is about disruption. And so what I see is you're in a very, very crowded space.
Right.
And so
competitive.
Very competitive, and it's ever evolving. And I kind of wanted to know kind of where it all began for you.
Well, it began as a bartender for the owner of the Fountain Blues. Father owned a restaurant in the mall.
I didn't know that.
And I started off as a bartender for him and became a manager and went from there. And now today, they're my partners on my nightclubs today.
So when you were a bartender, is this when you came up with the idea? What did you think was the missing space?
No.
How did you evolve to?
I evolved from when I was bartending. I just really fell in love with hospitality.
Right.
And I said, I want to be a manager. And I was making $100,000 a year as a bartender. And they said, well, the manager position pays $33,000 a year. And I said, I'll take it. And I think it's always great to bet on yourself, especially when you're young, and take those chances. It shouldn't always be about the money. Money for me it's never been. It's always been about just killing it and being dominant in my space, and money's just a surplus of that.
Yeah, but I'm going to ask a deeper question because in our field, which is finance and so on and so forth, you see numbers and they come out at you, and then you figure out how to do things.
Of course, it's
right?
black and white.
Correct. You see something through the lens of someone creative. So everyone has a great idea. You know what I mean? Everyone wants to promote the next, but your lens saw something. And now you created this gigantic organization. Obviously, baby steps, but I kind of want to know that initial step because you started Live in 2008?
Nine.
How did you evolve to that? Because that became one of the highest grossing nightclubs in the country.
Yeah, so for me, a lot of it's intuition, of course, as I'm sure you know. There's as much data as you can get in the hospitality business, but at the end of the day, it's kind of a feeling. You're creating an experience for people, so it's not so black and white. The numbers are the numbers as far as costs and P&Ls, and because it's a real business for us. These are real assets. Liv does over $40 million a year in Miami.
That's
Komodo, same. Poppy Steak, 20 plus million. These are real assets. So,
and those numbers are unheard of in the industry.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
Yeah,
let's just keep it real.
It's a little crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like finance, there's a business to it, and a lot of people think we just show up at nighttime and ha, but the daytime makes the nighttime, Bruce, and that's really what people have to know. For us, it's not just throwing a party. The party is a business.
So you start during the day.
Right.
You plan all your junk. You get everything.
The
figured
nighttime
out.
is just the end of that.
It's just the
Right.
Okay, fine. I get it.
Well, no, because listen, having a hospitality company, it's not just nightclub. It's restaurant, it's lounge, it's nightclub, it's hotel, and how do you connect all of them through an ecosystem and moving people from place to place to place to place, and having that touching point in all these different areas of a market.
Talk to me a little bit about EDM. Okay, and here's the reason why I ask. Of generations and the baby boomer, and so on and so forth, EDM was unheard of, right? And it became now standard bearer for almost all music, and the new artists coming out are these incredible creative individuals. But you were kind of at the beginning of that.
Yeah, when I first opened Live, we had some guys, and we did, I think, like $19 million. Then the next year I did $23 million. And then my third year I go to Ibiza and I see about these DJs and production and all this. And I brought those guys back and I went from 23 to $40 million in 1 year.
That's insane. Were there a lot of copycats then after?
Yeah, I mean, listen, everyone watches what we do, which we love, right? I love being that person that people look towards to see what's coming up. But you know what, the music, it's even evolved even more now. What you've seen now is that the underground, and we've noticed this throughout our lives, is that underground becomes pop culture in 6 months or a year. Now all these underground DJs are now becoming the pop culture DJs of today.
And how is it managing these individuals?
I mean, listen, they're artists, right? So any artist is a creative person, and being able to figure out how to make them feel the most comfortable so they could be the most creative is really always top of mind. You know, we don't go into booking DJs as trying to be transactional. We do it to say, how can we add value to your life and not just be, you know, when DJs sign up for a residency with myself, they know it's not just come in here and here. It's what else can I do? Who can I connect to do a song with you? How can I get you on a red carpet? Who can I surround the DJ booth with to make it sure that you feel more elevated than you could
How large
ever.
are these teams?
I mean,
They're huge.
Yeah.
They're gigantic. And then you sit on top of that ecosystem and try to help them
try.
out?
We try. We really want to make it a full 360 situation for them.
That's a lot of work, man.
Yeah. But you know what? It's just like working with a new founder that you invest in, a new product, a new anything. You want to work with that founder and grow that business. No,
The challenge I have in that particular thing that you spoke about it is, you know, kind of professionalizing that individual. But if they're creative in nature, you know, do they lose some of that that essence if they get professionalized?
No, what you want to do is you want to make sure that the team behind them is professional. You want them to be who they are. You want them to be as creative as possible and have a great team behind them. That's why we don't always just look at the DJ. We look to see who his team is. Who's his manager? Who's his agent? Who's his publicist? Who's his business manager? Because, you know, it doesn't do us any good if this guy's sitting there worried about his finances or worried about contracts and all that. We want them to sit there and make music, make hits.
Right. In essence, I think you've figured out a way to monetize cool. That's the way, when people talk about Dave Grutman, they say, what's he like? I said, he's figured out a way to monetize cool. And to me, like, I think about things like even what you're wearing, it's just everything I think you do is cool, so it doesn't matter. But that's me, you know what I mean? Because I'm the nerd.
This is our new Komodo merch that we're launching. It's called Duck Club, and you know we really focus on the ducks. We love duck at Komodo, which is, you know,
I've had it. It's phenomenal.
It's the best.
It really is the best. And that's another thing. You started the restaurants and so on and so forth. Obviously, you taste all the food and things like that. How do you pick the chefs and all these kind of things? These are all feelings, okay, which I'm going to talk about, and instinct and intuition. Right. But you have to have a huge team, right?
By the way, I have guys that are way better than me at this that are behind me. That's the only way I could grow. So for me, I would love to say, oh, look what I've done, look what I've done. It's not look what I've done. I'm just a face person. At the end of the day, it's my team that's done such great things.
Yeah, I mean, how large right now is Groot Hospitality?
It has to be 1,000-something people.
That is incredible. Yeah. That number I would have not guessed, to be candid with you. That's incredible. Spread throughout the world,
just even at Komodo, Las Vegas here, at the Fountain Blue, it's insane amount of people that work there.
You know, I've asked this of others who have, you know, restaurants like Poppy and so on and so forth in Las Vegas and Miami. Is there a difference between the two restaurants? Is there a different vibe?
Yeah,
is there a different feeling?
Listen, each market has its own nuances and stuff like that, and we keep trying to, every time we do a new one, we try to make the brand bigger, better, crazier. Yeah. So, and Poppy and Komodo here is just a great example of that. And Live.
Yeah, that's cool. Listen, in 2019, you sold a majority stake
to 51% to Live Nation.
To Live Nation. What has that partnership made Groot different? You know, I mean, you've had to learn something from them because they have such huge scale.
Can I tell you
and what did you bring to the table to them?
So Michael Rapino, the CEO, obviously, of Live Nation, couldn't be any better of a partner in my life. Like, you know, I see I have a lot of friends that have sold pieces of their company to other conglomerates, and they hate it. They're like, ugh, the worst. They don't know. They don't get my business. They don't. Nah, nah, nah. Live Nation's not trying to get my business. Live Nation's like, what can we do to make your business better?
Right.
There's a big difference in that. And
think of the challenge during that period of time.
COVID
hits.
That's, by the way, here's the best part, is you have a good partner when everything's great. Oh, everything's great. I have a great partner.
Right.
But when the shit hits the fan,
right,
and you're in a dark place.
Dark as right. Don't talk. Don't breathe. Don't move.
How is your partner then?
Right.
That's when my partner, Michael Rapino and Live Nation, steps up and says, what can we do? What do you need? Let's go.
I mean, think about a business model that literally overnight said no people are allowed.
Yeah, but
I mean, that's pretty screwed up.
That was a few weeks for us in Miami, and of course we were ripping it.
I didn't realize that.
Miami was one of the few markets that we that got open, stayed open. And yeah, we had some curfews here and there, but at the end of the day, we were open. And not the nightclubs, but the restaurants and stuff like that. And I think it was this oasis for people that were locked up in their houses. They'd come to Miami, they'd be like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, they'd be like, wow. And they would like let their inhibitions go down.
And that was the snap moment for Florida, too.
It was another renaissance for Miami. I've seen a few renaissance now for Miami. That was a big one.
That's huge. David, really enjoyed some of these insights, but I have to ask everyone this, okay? Because I came from a background that I have, feelings about, so on and so forth. Who was your sense of motivation for you? Who was kind of your sense of inspiration? I call it feels. Who gave you the feels?
So, I'm sure same with you. There's people that you
made a big impact. Like you said, this is the moment where change is about to occur.
So, in the beginning of my career, a guy named Noah Tepperberg, who's my closest friend, he owns Tao Group. He started off doing a market agency where they were integrating brands into sampling programs. They did a PlayStation house in the Hamptons. When I saw that click and I saw that I could bring sponsors and brands to not only benefit my brand, but to partner with and grow brands together, that was a big snapping point for me, that's for sure. Seeing what Ian Schrager did, going from nightclubs to hotelier and then to residential, was a big inspiration, because you're like, I don't want to just be a nightclub guy. There's more for me than just being a nightclub guy.
Now, I always think about entrepreneurs who are not only wealthy, but who also have a brain that goes on 24 hours a day. We were just talking about this yesterday. I mean, David's brain goes on 24 hours a day, and I'm pretty confident you don't even sleep. But I'm just being candid with you, because if you're preparing during the day, you still have to know what your product is at night.
Yeah, of course.
You're now evolving. You've set this platform. You have Live Nation. It's a gigantic strategic platform. There's another vision out there that you start talking about, is maybe your own DGN, if you could talk about that, your own network.
Yeah, I started...
talk about your incubation of that, and then where you're growing it from here.
So there's a couple of things we've grown into. One is the production studio. We're doing Black Coffee's documentary right now and working on like 6 other shows, because we come across so many interesting characters that I think should have time on TV and movies and stuff like that.
So you think there's a space there that's missing?
100%. And I want to build stuff around my own IP. Correct. I feel like, to make our IP grow outside of our 4 walls is the most important thing out there. We've also now started investing in a lot of VC as far as CBG brands, consumer brand goods, with the GoPuff founders. So together we go to young founders that are starting out and we try to pour gasoline on their brands.
I did not know that. So you're using the world of influence to help support some of these disruptive technologies.
Yeah, not only
consumer
that,
brands.
we put that into our ecosystem. Like, you get Liquid Death water. We have a menu item with skinny dipped, chocolate covered almonds and stuff like that, peanut butter cups, and all the Komodos. We do collabs constantly. Fly by Jing has a hot sauce at our place. And we see these things and we say, how can we make it better? And by just putting into our system is great. Plus, I have a great relationships where I could send out great, to the tastemakers.
Well, I mean, when you think of, you're taking this high level of influence, and then you're taking these business ideas that you think conceptually can go to the next level.
Of course.
The aligned interest is tremendous. And then if you can provide capital, it's game set match.
And we're not only just trying to, make a small investment, we're trying to take real sizable chunks of these companies and brands
So
to grow them.
are you becoming and evolving kind of like a private equity or even a venture
Yeah,
capital organization?
through Live Nation, we do it together, and it's been amazing. So we have Groot Hospitality, and then we also have Groot Investments, and from NeuroGum to Goodle's Mac and Cheese to Liquid Death, Boba Ice Cream, all sorts of brands that we think are you're going to be consuming.
One of the selfish things I always think about when I'm interviewing individuals like yourself, I always want to say, I came out with something interesting about that guy, right? And I've talked to you a bazillion times.
Yes.
That fascinates me.
Yeah.
It's something maybe for another day. But, just to kind of close up, David, we've talked a lot about kind of before, middle and after regarding all the things that you're doing. I just want to say thank you.
Of course,
it's been a great
Bruce, you're my
time.
guy. What do you mean? Of course,
but
I have to
dude,
come.
you're like the coolest dude. He's so cool, okay? And I'm just saying that I am not cool. I am a nerd, but this guy's cool. So,
Bruce, listen, it's been such an honor to get to know you over the last year, and I'm so happy that we have such a great relationship together.
I love you, man.
My pleasure.
Yeah, take care.
Changing the game, shattering expectations, rewriting the rules. Meet the new visionaries, the rebels, the ones who dare to disrupt.
When you're on a show like this, we're always talking about disruption. And when you're talking about disruptive natures of any business, you're talking about innovation.
The way that this is transforming is people want an actual connection with the person that they're listening to, because we're so used to being online that it feels like you're talking to a friend. You don't want it to be so formal.
In fact, I've often said grass is hard to grow under big trees. And so when you're in this moment where you're doing things differently, and then you find that inspiration of like, it was my mom and my dad. That's major feels, man. Major feels.
Exploring the industries revolutionizing our world.
They're trying to create FOMO for their friends.
Yeah.
This is what today everything is about. You just put a regular steak on the table, they're not taking their phone out and filming that. You bring it out in a briefcase and you do a whole show and a shebang and dancers around it, and then you brand it with the Poppy Steak logo, they're taking out their phone.
And the it factor for me, for you, and I'll dive right into it right away, is, to me, you made golf approachable.
So please, if you suffer from those 3 disasters, what you gotta do is you gotta make sure that you think. Lay hands, that's it.
The more you think about the result, less the reason why, the more it happens in a way that I've realized that ain't it, bro. I don't like that. I don't like, okay, I gotta do this and I gotta do that. No. I'm gonna do what I love to do and what makes me feel great, because I know I'm aligned with my destiny the more I do that.
Tech, retail, hospitality, fintech, AI, no sector is safe.
We want to get to know these people, and so these conversations are conversations that we want to have, and the audience gets to come along with us.
Just said fall 7 times,
I
rise
just had
8.
a short circuit.
All right, you know what I'm saying? I'm keeping a little Asian here.
Thank you for that.
A little,
A little Asian, but a lot street. Look at that hoodie, bro.
Yeah,
You
I
came
love that.
correct.
Well, no, I'm just saying.
The Disruptors. From the Fountainblue Las Vegas Resort.